Hi, I'm Hugo. My dad always said I had his eyes, but my mother's stubborn chin. That stubborn streak is probably what's keeping me from completely falling apart right now. The funeral home felt suffocating despite its high ceilings. Black suits, hushed voices, and that sickly sweet flower smell that tries but fails to mask the scent of grief. Dad's mahogany casket sat at the front, topped with white lilies, his favorite. I couldn't take my eyes off it. He looked good for his age right up until the end. An old business associate patted my shoulder. I nodded mechanically. Dad had been larger than life, building Hayes Construction from nothing into a regional powerhouse. Even at 72, he'd been in the office every day teaching me the ropes. You holding up okay? My sister Olivia appeared beside me, eyes red-rimmed. I'm trying. Keep thinking he'll call any minute about some contract issue. Me too. She squeezed my hand. Where's Sylvia? I scanned the room for my wife. After 15 years, I could still pick her blonde head out of any crowd. She stood near the refreshment table, checking her phone with unusual intensity. He was proud of you, you know, Olivia whispered. Told me last month you were ready to take over completely. That brought the sting of tears. Dad and I had butted heads plenty through the years, especially when I first joined the company. But these last few years, we'd found our rhythm. He'd become not just my father, but my mentor and friend. I spotted Sylvia walking toward me, clutching a manila envelope. Something in her expression made my stomach drop. Hugo, we need to talk. Her voice was different, professional, detached. Can it wait? I'm kind of in the middle of my father's funeral. That's precisely why it can't wait. She thrust the envelope at me. I filed for divorce. My lawyer said timing is everything. The room seemed to tilt sideways. What are you talking about? 15 years, Hugo. 15 years of being the perfect corporate wife while you and your father built your precious empire. Her perfectly manicured nail tapped the envelope. Half the fortune is mine now. You're serving me divorce papers at my father's funeral? My voice cracked with disbelief. Your father never liked me anyway. And with him gone, the company shares transfer to you. My attorney says this is optimal timing. Her eyes were cold, calculating. Nothing personal, just business. Several guests had turned to stare. Olivia stepped between us. Get out, now. My sister's voice was ice. Sylvia smiled thinly. See you in court, Hugo. She turned and walked away, heels clicking on the hardwood floor. Olivia grabbed my arm. What the hell was that? I stared at the envelope, mind racing through our marriage. The late nights at yoga, the sudden interest in our finances last year, the suggestion that Dad should retire fully and transfer company ownership. She was waiting for him to die, I whispered, the realization burning through me. All this time. That conniving bitch, Olivia hissed. I thought about our anniversary trip to Maui last month. The way she'd kissed me goodbye this morning, saying she'd meet me at the service. All lies. 15 years of marriage. Ended with a manila envelope at my father's funeral. You okay? Olivia asked, concern etched on her face. I straightened my tie, a strange calm settling over me. No, but I will be. I tucked the envelope into my jacket pocket. If Sylvia wants war, she'll get one, and she has no idea who she's up against. The day after the funeral, I found myself sitting in Richard's downtown office, the divorce papers spread across his mahogany desk. Richard had been my best friend since college before becoming one of the city's top attorneys. This is cold-blooded, even for a divorce attorney, serving papers at a funeral. Richard adjusted his glasses, scanning the documents. She's asking for half of everything, including your inheritance and company shares. Can she do that? She's banking on the fact that you've been married 15 years and that your assets grew substantially during that time. He tapped his pen thoughtfully. Something's off, though. These filings have been in preparation for months. Months? Look at the documentation. Bank records going back a year, company valuations. This isn't impulsive. She's been planning this, waiting for the right moment. My phone buzzed. Olivia. I need to take this. Hugo, you need to get home. I'm at Dad's house cleaning out his office, and you won't believe what I found. 20 minutes later, I stood in Dad's home office while Olivia pulled out a small notepad from the desk drawer. I caught Sylvia in here 3 weeks ago, right after Dad's heart attack. She claimed she was looking for family photo albums for the service. Olivia's eyes narrowed. But I found her at his desk, rifling through papers. And you're just telling me now? I didn't want to stress you out while Dad was in the hospital, plus I didn't have proof she was up to something until I found this. She handed me the notepad. It's Dad's handwriting. Look at the last entry. I read aloud. S asked again about changing will. Claims H would benefit from early transfer. Don't trust her motives. S for Sylvia. Olivia looked grim. And H is obviously you. She was trying to get him to change his will before he died? Mr. Hayes? A soft voice interrupted us. Elena, Dad's executive assistant of 20 years, stood in the doorway clutching a folder. I'm sorry to intrude during your mourning period, but there's something you should know. What is it, Elena? Your wife came to the office several times in the past few months, asking questions about your father's estate planning. She placed the folder on the desk. She also requested copies of company ownership documents, claiming you had asked for them. I never asked for anything. I know. That's why I kept a record of her visits. Elena opened the folder, revealing a security log. And there's something else. She wasn't alone during her last visit. What do you mean? She arrived with a man. They seemed intimate. Security footage shows them kissing in the parking garage. Elena looked uncomfortable. I didn't want to add to your grief, but with the divorce papers, my mind flashed to Sylvia's yoga instructor, Craig, who I'd met only twice in passing. Tall guy, sandy hair, tribal tattoo on his forearm? Elena nodded. That's him. The betrayal cut deep, but the anger felt clarifying. So she's been having an affair, planning to divorce me and trying to manipulate my dying father. There's one more thing, Elena said hesitantly. Your father suspected something was wrong. Before his heart attack, he asked me to contact his attorney about making changes to protect the company. I exchanged looks with Olivia. Did he complete those changes? I believe so. The appointment was 3 days before he was hospitalized. I pulled out my phone. Richard, I'm coming back, and bring everything you have on prenuptial agreement loopholes. We're going to war. 3 days after discovering Dad's foresight, our team gathered in my home office. We've got something. Richard spread documents across the table. Your dad created a trust 2 weeks before he passed. The company's shares are protected from divorce proceedings. Smart man, your father, Richard nodded. But we need more to shut Sylvia down completely. Elena pushed forward a USB drive. Security footage, phone logs, and recordings of her conversations with your father. Recordings? Your father installed a system after the Jensen dispute. All meetings in his office were recorded for legal protection. We listened to Sylvia suggesting Dad simplify his estate planning by transferring assets early. She was fishing, Richard said, and he wasn't biting. Olivia showed us photos of Sylvia kissing her yoga instructor Craig outside a downtown condo. I hired a PI who found something else. She opened secret accounts 6 months ago. She's been siphoning money, Richard observed. Not enough to trigger alarms, though. What if I act defeated? I suggested. Make her think I'm giving up. Classic rope-a-dope, Richard grinned. Let her think she has you on the ropes. I'll tell her I'm worried about you, Olivia offered, that you're drinking too much, not sleeping. The next day, Sylvia called as predicted. I heard you're not handling this well, Hugo. What did you expect? You blindsided me. This could be simple if you just agree to my terms. Maybe you're right. I'm tired of fighting. That's surprisingly mature of you. Life's too short. Dad taught me that. Her voice softened. I never wanted to hurt you. The lie made my blood boil, but I kept my voice steady. Can we meet to discuss terms? At dinner, I played my part, exhausted, defeated, slightly drunk. There's one thing I'm worried about, I slurred. Dad's offshore account. Her eyes sharpened. What offshore account? The Cayman one, for emergencies. I waved dismissively. Don't worry, I'm not hiding it. You deserve your share. That night, Elena called. She's at the office right now, accessing your father's computer. Is she alone? No, she brought Craig. Perfect. Make sure everything's recording. 2 days later, Richard called, excitement evident. She took the bait. Used Craig's cousin at First National to run searches for Cayman accounts under your father's name. That's bank fraud. And it gets better. She emptied your joint account yesterday, all $212,000. I smiled for the first time in weeks. She just handed us the smoking gun. Olivia texted me a screenshot of Sylvia's social media, her complaining about my mental state and inability to accept reality. The trap is set, I told Richard. Time to spring it. The courtroom fell silent as Richard stood for our final arguments. Sylvia sat across the aisle, confident beside her expensive attorney. Your Honor, we'd like to present additional evidence that has come to light. Richard approached with a folder. Evidence of attempted fraud, financial misconduct, and deliberate misrepresentation. Sylvia's lawyer jumped up. Objection! This is the first we're hearing of these allegations. Overruled. I'll review the evidence. The judge took the folder. Richard continued. First, The revised trust document signed by Marcus Hayes 2 weeks before his passing, specifically protecting company assets from divorce proceedings. Additionally, we have evidence that Mrs. Hayes attempted to manipulate the deceased, accessed confidential files without authorization, and committed bank fraud. Sylvia's face drained of color as Elena testified about the recorded conversations and security footage of Sylvia and Craig searching through Dad's office after hours. Furthermore, Richard added, Mrs. Hayes emptied the couple's joint account of $212,000 and attempted to locate non-existent offshore accounts using her paramour's banking connections, a federal offense. The judge delivered her ruling an hour later. I'm denying all of Mrs. Hayes's claims to marital assets beyond what she brought into the marriage. The prenuptial agreement stands, reinforced by the trust. Furthermore, I'm referring evidence of bank fraud to the district attorney's office. Outside, Sylvia approached me. Hugo, please, can we talk? I made a terrible mistake. Which mistake exactly? The affair? The theft? Trying to manipulate my dying father? Or serving me divorce papers at his funeral? I was desperate. I felt trapped in your family's shadow. Save it. The only thing you're sorry about is that you lost. What happens now? Her voice trembled. You leave with what you came with 15 years ago, nothing more. Please, I have nowhere to go. Craig left when the money didn't materialize. Not my problem. I turned away. You're just like your father, cold and calculating. I smiled. Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've said in years. 6 months later, I stood with Olivia and Richard at the ribbon cutting for the Marcus Hayes Memorial Scholarship Foundation. 20 full scholarships for engineering students, Elena announced, continuing Marcus's legacy of building for the future. To Dad, Olivia whispered, raising her glass. To Dad, I echoed, and to the family that stands by you when it matters. Richard nudged me. That new CFO keeps looking your way? I laughed. One step at a time. I've learned my lesson about rushing into things. Some lessons are worth the pain, Olivia said. You're stronger now. Looking at the people who had stood by me, my true family, I knew she was right. What would you have done in Hugo's position? When someone betrays you at your most vulnerable moment, like during a funeral, do they ever deserve forgiveness, or was Hugo right to reject Sylvia's apology and leave her with nothing? The line between justice and revenge can be thin. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Would you have shown mercy or stood your ground like Hugo did? If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button to help others find it too. Subscribe for more stories of justice served and betrayal exposed. There's a new one every day. What other revenge scenarios would you like to see covered next? Let us know.